Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our program brought to you by Madisonville Marine. The Boat Show is the weekend of February 14th, but you can get all the great Boat Show rebates, the discounts, extended warranties, everything right now. Visit Madisonville Marine, Highway 411 North in Madisonville, and if you want to take delivery once things warm up, hey, they'll do that too. You can go ahead and put a down payment down now, take advantage of the great pricing and deals, and then take delivery in May or something if you want to. Madisonville Marine, they'll work with you, and right now is the time to work with them. Great, great deals. All right, back with Mark Pankratz and Mike Strange. We are going to talk about Tennessee's big games this week. You got two of them, both of them on the road. Let's take a look at the graphic if we could. Tuesday, 6:30 at South Carolina. 10-9 overall, but they're 5-1 in the SEC. They started terribly. They're doing one in the league. That's the kind of thing that hurts you in the RPI/net ratings, by the way, when you go out and stink in the non-conference and then come beat up the conference. That doesn't help the league. Saturday, 8 o'clock at Texas A&M. They're 8-10 overall, and they're a measly 1-5 in the SEC. They're one win, a buzzer beater over Alabama. Gentlemen, let's quickly talk about South Carolina and Frank Martin and this team and how they've turned things around. What does Tennessee have to be concerned with Gamecocks?
Well, South Carolina's turning around because their best attributes of their team is the inside. Guards are really young. Guards are starting to grow up, and they've got a freshman, A.J. Lawson, 6'6" guard, was one of the best player in Canada, has come and been a difference maker for them. The crazy thing about them, the point differential on them is 2 points a game. So they're very easily, those games could sway either way, and South Carolina's record could look really, really different, but they're playing really well. And then Texas A&M, same thing. Difference is they've got really good guard play. And I wrote this down just so I had the points right. There's on their season totals, they've only scored 2 points more than their opponents. So again, in the entire season, so games are really close. They'll be in 2 barn burners.
All right, what do you think, Mike?
Well, I've watched South Carolina play several games where you thought they were beat, teams had them beat, but at the end, if you let them hang around, they'll get you. So I think this is a really tough one. And Texas A&M didn't look bad yesterday. They won a game in the challenge.
Yeah. Let me ask you, Mark, how big a deal? And we know what road games the conference can be. You saw it against Vanderbilt. Throw the records out. Conference game on the road, anything could happen. But talk to me about travel in general, all right? You got a week here where middle of the week you're going to Columbia, South Carolina. Not that long a trip, but still, that's the far reaches on the eastern side. Then you go to the hinterlands out west on Saturday. Is that a deal at all for these kids, or are they kind of used to travel
Well,
like that?
here's the thing. No more is general can be used because you've got the number 1 in front of your name. So now you're the big show that comes to town. And whereas before it's just Tennessee versus South Carolina, your true fans go. But now you've got the casual basketball fans that's coming up to show the number 1 team in the country. And to Mike's point, when the team that's not supposed to win starts hanging around on the road, just like with Vanderbilt, all of a sudden the people that had no thought that you could win going to the game start believing, and it makes it harder and harder every second that goes by.
Crowd gets a little rowdier and rowdier, and Tennessee was lucky that was 50-50 over there. Imagine if you were further away where you didn't have 50% Tennessee fans and you're in that kind of a barn burner. Texas A&M, for example. That's going to be a loud gym, as you point out.
Yeah.
All right. Very good, guys. I appreciate it. A little later, seeding projections for the Vols. I mentioned the South Carolina thing. We'll talk about whether or not the SEC could hurt Tennessee in terms of seeding when we get to the end of the season. We'll look at all kinds of the net rankings that the NCAA is using, et cetera. But next, job security for Holly Warlick. 6 losses in a row. We'll discuss. Come on back on the Sports Source.